Hello, everyone. About 4 years ago, we created a session about QuickBooks versus Zoho Books. It was a very successful session, got over 30,000 views. And today, 2026, we are going to refresh the session. Lots of things change over the years. First of all, we have with us Simon Fedorovsky. He's always the GOAT of the finance systems. Thank you very much for joining this session, Simon.
My pleasure.
In this session, we are going to have 8 different topics that will qualify which system is better for you, QuickBooks or Zoho Books. And first of all, for people that don't know me, my name is Lior Izik. I am the owner of Amazing Business Results. We are a Zoho premium partner operating in Cyprus, USA, and Canada since 2013. And we're serving small to medium-sized businesses. Simon, please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Now, the introduction, I think, is a little bit different this year because a little bit more aged, like fine wine, maybe not as much as fine wine, but my name is Simon.
Whiskey.
Yeah, something that doesn't look, anyways, you've seen the older video probably, but my name is Simon Fedorovsky. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sphere. We are a boutique accounting firm in the North American market that deals with QuickBooks, Zoho Books, NetSuite, SAP, Priority, a whole variety of accounting systems, and we kind of just tailor each solution to the business owner's needs, essentially. So,
Yep.
been in this industry for 9
and
years
I can
now.
say that Sphere is serving hundreds of our customers in the past decade or so.
Yeah,
You can check their profile. It's all 5 stars reviews. They have more reviews than restaurants.
yeah.
Okay, so first of all, point number 1. That's an interesting one. It's not coming naturally to think about it. So you have accounting systems, let's say QuickBooks, and you have Zoho Books. Zoho Books will be more appreciated by business owners like myself. From the other side, QuickBooks is the GOAT for accountants. Why there is this disconnection?
This is a topic that is brought up actually by Zoho quite often. We've done seminars in the US with hundreds of CPAs in the US market. There's a big delay in just education on the Zoho Book side for accountants. They've seen comfort, they've seen it and used it for many years, and the comfort has been Intuit. And now with the developments and how things are moving, Intuit is still the one to go to for small to medium size that's very simplified. And I think accountants, like you definitely know this, are so reluctant to change that they don't want to. It was so hard enough. It was hard enough for them to go from QuickBooks Desktop to online.
Online, yeah.
And now you want them to find out about this whole new software that's significantly more, developed, I would say. It's like a shock to them. So we are seeing that quite a bit, especially this year, where they're starting to slowly understand it and value it, especially when we bring them onto it. Like if we have a client that we're implementing that is or was on QuickBooks, and they see their accounting team and accounting firm sees Zoho Books, then they start to appreciate it. So it's definitely a learning curve, I think, overall, as we head into this year of them appreciating the complexities that Zoho Books can bring, like, segmenting their P&L, right? Doing different reporting by regions, by different, cost centers. This type of verbiage.
And just one thing for people that don't understand what you just said, which I think it's a huge point. So let's say that you're a web design company. You're selling web design, you're selling SEO, and you're selling Google Ads services. Each one of those lines of business can have their own profit and loss reports.
Correct.
So you treat each one of them its own business. I can't even tell you how many times we worked with businesses that they thought that all the lines of business are doing fantastic, but when Simon's team start to segment their business into P&L for each line of service, it was shocking results. Some of them were amazingly profitable, and some of them were huge losers, which you can't know it unless you are having those reports, right? It's a huge point.
And I think that the problem here is that QuickBooks has had this capability for a long time with classes, and you can tack on locations and you can tack on different custom fields like tags, which they have now removed as of last year, right? So they're not using tags anymore because that was a fail. Now, when you look at more high-end software like the enterprise level, you have distribution rules and cost centers. Those are the two names for it. Zoho Books is called tags. It's really, really incredible. You can build a multi-layered system that you can segment even employment, like employee codes, and be able
Mm-hmm.
to build budgets for those specific tags. So it's a little bit more dynamic, and you can do more than one hierarchy within the same kind of instance. And it just gives you a lot more value, 100%. So I agree with you. It's just completely different approach. And we'll talk a little bit more about, where the two softwares are headed, and I think that'll kind of explain that approach really, really, really well.
And just to close this topic, uh, I was fighting really hard to go from QuickBooks to Zoho Books. I have a bunch of videos about it as well. I tried it with 7 different companies, and eventually Sphere Consulting helped me do the migration in a proper way. And I'm super happy I did it because I always wanted an accounting system that I can work with, that I can do things by myself without just
Mhm.
having a bookkeeping system, right? Because
That's
as you
right.
know, Simon, one of my previous companies, we had disaster in our bookkeeping system, and I didn't even know what's going on because I had no access
And that
to
was
all
on
that.
Intuit, by the way, interestingly enough.
It was, yes, yes. And that was also part of the reason. Tell me something, just to close that. When I left Intuit, as you know about the disaster, they said that there are no backups for QuickBooks. Is it still the case that they don't have backups?
Correct.
They
Yeah, you
still
can't
no
extract
backups.
it internally. No, you can't do it online. You can request them to send you all the data so you can export specific lists, but there's
Mhm.
no full-blown backup of the system. No.
It's really unheard of that you have a
Yeah.
software without backup.
You
Unheard
can
of.
export master data, you can export your attachments and things like that. And by the way, depending on the region, you're limited to that as well. So that's also an interesting one that Intuit's doing. But
Unheard of. Okay.
yeah,
Topic number two will be pricing. So some people are sensitive to pricing, obviously. I can tell you from the Zoho side of things, if you have Zoho 1, which is the majority of the people will have that, it's free. It's part of the package. And if you just buy Zoho Finance, which we do, uh, uh, for some people, you will have one CRM with multiple legal entities. Like in our side, we have Cyprus, we have Canada, and we have the US, all of them connected into one CRM. It's really inexpensive. It's about, I think, $40 a month. What what are the prices on the QuickBooks side?
I think Intuit has really developed their pricing, and every year we're seeing increases in different segmentations. On the US side, for example, now Advanced is like what you would get with the professional under Zoho. Let's call it like a standalone product, like you're doing one-to-one comparisons.
Mhm.
A professional will cost you in Canada $30 a month. In the US, it's not expensive at all. It's similar. On Intuit, the same equivalent in terms of capacity and capability is what they would call the advanced. And the advanced is like 220 US a month. So that's a pretty significant bump. And you're not like just comparing the two things, you're not really getting that much more. You're actually getting nothing more with Intuit, with QuickBooks Online. And you are getting much better value with the Zoho platform, especially because you can connect other things. And we'll talk about that and dive into it. But pricing wise, it's obviously a non-compete. Like you cannot really compare the two.
Okay, so the third point will be growing teams and user management. From my point of view with QuickBooks, I just had my own license and also my bookkeeper license.
Mhm.
On Zoho, obviously, you have many more users can go because can be on the software because you have many more abilities.
Mhm.
How do you see it from your side?
I think that adding users is fairly straightforward, especially, if you are on Zoho One, you do end up getting one accounted user for free, which is wonderful. You just email them, they activate it, and then you just get to add the username. Um, but when you look at the dynamics and how you can actually control the users within the system, Zoho really takes a huge leap forward because it does things a little bit more advanced where you can actually limit who can email or communicate out of the system by module. Like that's a really big one that we've loved to do, right? So if you don't want your billing department to communicate and leave it to the collections department, then you can actually segment that specific role to do that for you. So I think user capabilities and permissions and restrictions is significantly better in Zoho Books. This is like a not even a debate. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more of a high-end application versus a software that you're just using.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I feel the same. Okay, so the next point will be payroll. I know payroll,
Mhm.
it's a big pain point in many applications. Zoho are having their own Zoho payroll that is connected natively to the HR system, and also Zoho expense as an example. When
Yeah.
QuickBooks, you have only the payroll component that connected to QuickBooks. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could do like a very basic timesheet integration with QuickBooks Online, but I think what Zoho's done that's very unique is, and you mentioned it, and I think it's really important to highlight it, it's the Zoho expense part of it. So like expense reporting platforms are extremely expensive. So for example, if you have a Concur, SAP Concur, or Expensify, you can plug it into it, let's say, and but it won't communicate with the actual payroll software. So if you want to add the reimbursables to it, it's a pain to actually get that configured. Whereas Zoho Expense now has a full integration capability to be able to push those items to Zoho Payroll and get it paid out within the run, which is awesome. Not only, first of all, Zoho Expense is free if you have Zoho One, you
Right.
now have the option to also pay it out and mark it paid and have all that integration live, which is wonderful, right?
Huge.
So yeah, it's a win beyond belief. Like I know Zoho Payroll really pushed it up a gear last year in Canada, but
Mhm.
on the US side they've been pretty strong for a while now.
Yep, and also the integration with the HR, it's a big thing. So you have
Yeah,
your team is running their timesheets as they used to, and then it's all connected to the payroll. And when you have the paychecks going out, integrating with the bookkeeping system, so
time
it's a
off,
very
right?
nice
Like it's
solution.
it's it's beyond what we now are seeing as just like oh yeah, just tell us what days you had off. No, this is like a full approval process for time off, vacation days, accrued days. It's much more dynamic with Zoho people, right? So
Yep.
it's wonderful.
Okay. So the next point will be automation focused workflows.
Yeah.
I can tell you obviously that on the Zoho book side, it's you can do whatever you want.
Can
Every
I tell you
module,
something? This is
of
like
course,
a personal thing. I wish that Zoho Books would be like Zoho CRM. I feel like Zoho CRM, it's like you open, it's like a wonderful world. Zoho Books, because it's finance, has to be restricted and
more
limited,
locked. That's
obviously.
right.
But yeah, the capabilities are just outrageous when you compare it because you could do custom code, emails, you could do so many different things, notifications, approval process now by module in Zoho Books, right? So all this stuff, when you compare it to like what's traditional, and I want to touch on this at the end of this video, is where are the two platforms really headed beyond 2026, beyond this year? And
Yep.
I think Zoho Books is just like so much more advanced and current, whereas Intuit is like you could do like, oh, you can update this or send this, or it's very limited. Whereas in Zoho Books, you do custom code and build something completely out of the box, right? Crazy.
Yep. Yeah, we have tons of automations that we created on Zoho Books, Zoho subscriptions, Zoho Expense.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff that you can't even dream on it
Yeah,
on
your
on
team's
on
your team's a
QuickBooks.
legend when it comes to this. Like the team that you have is always doing something very unique. Like that extra 10 to 15% that's not really traditional, I'll call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have very good team. Um, okay, so let's continue. The next one will be integration with finance tools.
Yeah.
So with QuickBooks, from my understanding, you can integrate with timesheets, which will be an external tool. You can integrate with expense tools, which will be again external. So it's all
Even Zoho
external,
expense, right? Yeah.
even though expense.
Yeah. But everything's external and it's expensive, right? Because when you go externally, it's like you pay per user, so it's not cheap.
I see. So you need to pay on the QuickBooks side per user.
On the Zoho expense side per user, which is not cheap at all. Like expense management tools, like Expensify Concur, it's like 10 to $20 a user per month. It's very, very
It's
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah. But with Zoho Expense, if you have Zoho One, it's free and it could tack onto Zoho Books and have that live, not just like a very limited integration, which is what they have with QuickBooks, right?
It's
So
also it's important to talk about when people say integration, they
yeah,
it's usually it's they're talking to each other, but it's not true.
I agreed.
The integration level can be, one integration can be just creating a user from the
Mhm.
CRM into QuickBooks. Complete different integration is checking if there are duplicates, and completely different integration will be creating invoices or and so on. With Zoho Books, it's all done natively. You
Hmm.
click on a button, integrate, and it's done.
Yep,
So you're
yep.
saving tons of money here
Tons of money, tons of
and
time.
mistakes. Mhm.
Yeah, the duplicate records. Then you have to, one system updates something minor and then that system breaks, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, Zoho is thinking about its own ecosystem constantly to make sure that those things are working. Um, but outside of that, you do have other options for the finance tools. You do have Zoho billing or subscriptions, which is
Hmm.
very advanced, where you could do, contracts and add-ons and track timing, expirations, renewals, agreements. It's like a billing system on crack,
Yeah.
like it's just crazy. And inventory wise, I don't even think that we need to dive into this, but maybe we could touch on it. Like inventory, you just can't compare what Zoho inventory can do versus the Intuit, advanced system. Yeah.
Okay. So we have the next point will be CRM integrations. On the Zoho side, when we need to integrate with QuickBooks, obviously it's not an easy integration. Intuit in general, their APIs, my personal opinion, it's not great. On the Zoho side, if we need to integrate, obviously Zoho Books to Zoho CRM, it's a flick of a button and it works and it's integrated. So it's
Yeah.
very nice. Also, when we need to integrate Zoho Books with other CRM systems, it's not that difficult to do. The
Yeah.
API sets of Zoho Books is pretty open and pretty good.
Yeah. And you could see that with just the crazy stuff that your team has created over the last, quite a few years that we've
Yeah.
worked with them. It's just been things that you don't typically see. Like I don't even, with our experience, we are not even seeing this on an enterprise world, the stuff that you guys are creating here in this environment. So it's when you're looking at SAP and NetSuite and those ones, it's wonderful work. Like that's what kind of pushes it up the enterprise route. If there's a ceiling, it's like trying to escape to reach it. Yeah.
We'll tell you something interesting. It's not released yet, but beginning of 2025, we said, you know what? We are 12 years in this industry. We want to see what's going on, what the big boys are doing, so we can take those automations and we'll push it to the small to medium-sized businesses. We put lots of time and effort into researching forums, user manuals, blogs of Salesforce, HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics. We went into the big boys to try to understand what they're doing. And when I was running this research, I was not the one who's researching, but I got the results once a week. I thought to myself, there is no way that with a small company of like 30 employees, we will never be able to reach whatever they do. And it will be nice, at least if we'll know what they're doing. And when those top 20 automations came in, I was really disappointed. It's nothing special.
No.
It's very basic.
Yeah.
And because of that, we this year we're going to release the top 20 automations of 2025. And those will be what the market is doing, which is basic, and then what we're doing on top of that.
Nice.
And those are nice automations that are providing tons of value to businesses. So that's also, as you say, I also agree. Enterprise, they are not having anything too special. But also, if you think about it, having a nice automation on Salesforce, it's
Not
hundreds of
cheap.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
right?
break the bank, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yep. And you
With
have,
almost no guarantees, right? Because then you got maintenance, you got this, that, and it's just expensive overall. Everything that you have is just insanely priced. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
yep.
It's
Okay.
the market
Now,
that we're in.
before we close this session, do you want to go over what's coming in 26? Because I know that you are super connected into QuickBooks and you're super connected into Zoho, all the way
Of
to
course.
the top guys in
The
Zoho
product
Finance.
managers. Yeah, of course. I just want to give my 2 cents because we do this a lot for the other softwares out there like Priority and SAP and NetSuite and so on. But one of the things that I'm noticing, and this has been a trend for the last 5 years, is the directions of the two software platforms. When you look at Intuit and you look at Zoho Books, they are really trying to, they're like, I don't know why, but they're like separating ways. Look at the way that Intuit has updated their UI twice last year, right? In 2025, they came out with a refresh, which now they're talking about simplifying the left-hand field and the menu in this
And
year.
I know that people didn't like
It was
the
terrible.
design upgrade.
It's probably the worst thing that they could have done, but they've added so much extra. They tried to compensate it with some UI stuff. It just was, I think, the wrong time at the wrong, placement of product upgrade. But when you look at the comparison for Zoho Books, they're very much like, this is what we're going to be doing. This is buttoned up. We're now adding fixed assets. We've now added bins. We've now added like all this other stuff, schedules. We're now trying to really break that going towards the enterprise route. Whereas Intuit is kind of saying, we don't really want to go the enterprise route. We know this is not our place, and therefore we're just going to simplify things. Like, how come they've never really taken the online route for complex inventory or manufacturing? They could have easily done it with their experience of desktop, but they're
Hmm.
choosing to step back. And that's kind of why I see a lot of the companies that are growing and have these like,
They need to
business
move.
owners that are like, hey, I want to really grow and I want to really expand. They're looking for the other solutions and Zero, Sage, they just don't really cover the same kind of footprint as what Zoho would bring, especially when you look at pricing and especially when you look at capability. So I think that the direction that Zoho Books is taking things is an advanced one and it's the right one. Intuit is serving its own purpose, which is sticking to small, simple, and easy, right? So
With uh, something very interesting about the Zoho product, most of the money is being invested into developing their products.
yeah,
They have almost no marketing. They have
yeah,
some marketing, but their idea. I talked also to the CEO a few times in the last 12 years. He's saying that, or now there is another CEO, but the idea is that they are creating products that will be so good that those products will promote themselves. So you will say, "Holy shit, this is something you must try. This is awesome," and this is how they're growing their business.
yeah. Look at Zoholics last year, right? Like what
Hmm.
we saw in Toronto, so many people came out. It was very, very incredible to see. I think and the products speak for themselves, right? Just the
Yep.
ability to take on the data, push it to analytics, take reporting. Like it's that next 10, 20% that we're missing from a lot of this level of software, unfortunately. But I love this stuff. It's this market in general with the Zoho book side of things has really developed and grown. Uh, even from when we started, dealing with this stuff together, it's just really taken a huge, huge leap forward. It's wonderful to watch.
Yeah, 130 million users so far.
Yeah,
So
and they're
probably
just
they're
getting
doing
started.
something good.
Yeah, exactly. So amazing.
Beautiful. So, Simon, thank you very much
It's
for
my
joining me
pleasure.
today. And guys, if you got any value from this video, thumbs up, click on the bell icon for more updates. Thumbs up, always appreciated. And drop comments in the comments below. We always check them out. And those are usually the ideas for the future videos. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next
Thank you for
session.
having me. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Simon.